From beautiful Baltimore, Maryland, outside the bank with it, home of the Ravens, and the site of our sports scarring moment today, the 2024 AFC Championship game. Soon to be two-time MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were the best team in football that year. But they faced an all-too-familiar foe on their odyssey to the Lombardi, the kaiju of the AFC, the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs. Their own Boogeyman in red. But with home field on their side, the Ravens had an advantage they never before held in previous matchups. But then the game started. But I'll let Adrianna from Black Girls Love Football tell y'all how it went. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, enjoy this episode of
This is a call that could determine the whole game right here. Sneed! It's out.
It just keeps happening. We keep getting there and not getting over the hump.
For Mike Edwards.
Just super disappointed and just heartbreaking.
He goes long and on his back to ice it.
I became a Ravens fan when the Ravens arrived to Baltimore. I was in fourth grade, and they came. I'll never forget the moment they came and they invited like different students down to visit the stadium. And I just fell in love with the way that the team was in the community. The way that like we could wear purple on Fridays, we could be out of uniform if the Ravens were winning, and we had the opportunity to like go visit the stadium and meet the players and meet the mascot. And so when they came to town, they did a really good job of making sure that they were like investing into the community. So as a child, I just fell in love with them, and I've never, stopped. My love has never died.
And that love was soon rewarded with the crown jewel of the NFL, a Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, so the first Super Bowl, my parents made sure that we were like dressed up in like Raven shirts, Raven socks, and we got to watch the game at like my stepdad's like family's house. And then when we won, which I didn't really know what I was watching, I just know that we won and Ray Lewis won. And we went downtown and it was insane. People were like just honking the horn, dancing in the street. It was insane. You couldn't even tell it was cold outside. People were like men were out there with no shirts on. And my dad was like, just leave me right here. I will find my way home. And we just dropped him off in the middle of the street. And we saw him later. Like, it was insane. Like, that feeling is really difficult to like even like bottle it up or explain it. But like that first Super Bowl feeling was just insane.
And because the football guys have favorites, I guess, they got rewarded again a little over a decade later. And this time with a bonus.
The Beyonce Bowl, yes. It was amazing. Like, my whole entire family, we just all sat and watched Beyonce and all. People kept joking, like, it's a football game at the Beyonce concert. I'm like, for me, this is like heaven. Like, I wanted to go so bad, but didn't go. For some reason, like, people weren't as like excited or something this time. Like, it wasn't as crowded in downtown as we thought it would be. You know what it was? The week before that, people got in trouble for burning Tom Brady jerseys everywhere. Like after the AFC Championship game, I think the police were like really intense on everybody for burning Brady jerseys and like stomping on them. Like I think because we were just so happy that we beat them that year.
So before I have to hear more about my precious GOAT's jersey getting desecrated, let's fast forward to the real subject of today's episode, Lamar Demetrius Jackson Jr. Specifically, let's get to Adrianna's perspective on the now infamous draft slide that still confuses ball knowers everywhere.
I was confused, but I also was not a college football fan at the time. So I think I might have watched his highlights. And I was like, whoa, like the Ravens are going to get this. Like, I don't remember like all like the details of that night, but I do remember just being like, when he was like, I'm going to be a Raven. I'm going to get them a Super Bowl. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, I was hyped. I'm like, okay, come on. I just kept saying, welcome to Baltimore, baby. That's all I kept saying. I think up until Lamar's first full season, what it meant to be a Ravens fan is to like, know what it's like to win, but not always win all the way. What it's like to know excellence, because I think that the Ravens organization is one of excellence, and it is the expectation that we make the playoffs. It is the expectation that we make it to the Super Bowl. We make it as close as possible every year, right? What it also means to be a Ravens fan before we met Lamar Jackson was to have grit and to have grind and to always have a chip on your shoulder and to not expect to just like win on offense, just win on defense. So then he came into our lives and changed our lives for the better. Like, it's pretty insane. Like, I say it all the time. I cannot believe that we got Lamar. Like, I say it all the time. Probably every day when I wake up. I can't believe Lamar Jackson is my quarterback. Every day. I say it every day because, like, especially when I watch highlights, I'm like, yo, how did we get this blessed? Like, how did we go from like a good quarterback to an explosive, amazing quarterback?
During that explosive, amazing quarterback's second MVP season, he led the Ravens to the best record in football and the number 1 overall seed for the first time since, well, his first MVP season. But at what point did Adrianna realize that this team was really that elite?
When we beat the Lions, I was there for that game in person. And we beat the Lions down. All the talking heads picked the Lions to beat us that game. We gave the Lions nothing. Nothing. They got nothing from us that game. Nothing. It just felt like, it was like, oh, the train keeps running. But I will tell you, as a lifetime Ravens fan, I don't like having the 1 seed. I don't like having a 2 seed. I prefer to fight. I think that the head coach that we have, that was just extended for 3 years, doesn't really know how to take advantage of having a 1st seed. He prefers to play as the underdog. I don't think he knows how to not play out of the trenches. So yeah, that was definitely the Lions game. I was like, oh yeah, we good. We up. This is our year. It was a dream. It was definitely a dream. Watching Mike McDonald like get his defense together. It was a dream. I really don't have any other. I wish I had another word for it other than a dream. Like, it was just amazing because it was like you have this unstoppable defense with Kyle Hamilton and Humphrey and Van Noy had just came and Clowney. Like, whew, it was beautiful to see. Like, it was Roquan had just came. Like, it was beautiful. It was it was beautiful, like chef's kiss. And then you had like Lamar that you could not figure out still.
As beautiful as it was, there was still a red and yellow elephant in the room in the Ravens' way. The Kansas City Chiefs, yet again.
I don't hate the Chiefs anymore, but that year I really hated them. Like, I just hated their guts. I hated everything about them. And I have so much respect for Andy Reid, like so much, but I just hated them. I hated Travis Kelce back then. I hated Patrick Mahomes. I've always like disliked Patrick Mahomes. I think that he is a GOAT, but it's just like when you really take your final rest, right? Or you really get like in the Hall of Fame. To some people, I guess it's okay, but to me, I never want an asterisk next to my name where like, oh, won this Super Bowl, asterisk, bad call. Or like, won this Super Bowl, asterisk, miss this. Like, the refs missed that. Like the one against the Eagles. Like, be for real.
Well, with all that said, let's get to the day of these Titans of the conference facing off. What was the game day experience like for an occasion such as this?
It was warm. And it was January. It was really weird. The sun was not shining. The atmosphere was weird. Like, nobody was like yelling on like when we played the Texans, it was lit in the whole stadium. We was all like real like lit, like just hanging out. It was cold, but nobody could tell. Also, like, you gotta remember, it was a lot of people who were at that game that were not Ravens fans. They were just there to be at an AFC Championship game. So it felt really different to have people there that like, you know, weren't really like there for us to win. Like, they weren't really our fans. On top of that, the atmosphere just felt weird. Me and my dad kept saying that the whole escalator ride up to our seats. We kept saying, oh, it just feels real weird. Like, nobody's cheering. Like, what's up with the and you know, nothing. And then there was this guy that flew in from France that was a Lamar fan that flew in just for the game. Spent $1,000 to sit next to us. And I said, well, it's all my ticket too. I think by halftime, I was proud of our defense, but it was obvious that like it was going to be that same thing that got us in previous seasons, where if you let the Ravens get behind too early, they're not coming back. And the Chiefs didn't score at all in the second half. It didn't. Our defense held them to 0 points in the second half, but the Ravens just never came back. Lamar threw a pass to himself. And I hate when people put it on him. That was not on him. It wasn't on him. It wasn't on Lamar. The atmosphere, like I said, it felt real weird and like eerie. Like, it was an eerie feeling in the atmosphere. Just super disappointed and just heartbreaking. You know, it was really heartbreaking to see. And I think the biggest heartbreak, as you mentioned earlier, is like just knowing what the pundits pundits were going to say about my quarterback. That's the part that hurt the most. Like, even though, like, I know we shouldn't care, he does care, and we care as fans. It's his fans and his supporters. The weight of the world is on his shoulders every time the team loses. It wasn't defense. It wasn't Mike. It was play calling. It was time management, and it wasn't Lamar Jackson.
Thumbnail of this episode aside, she makes a lot of valid points. But someone has to take the blame for this loss. Who will it be?
I definitely blame unfortunately, a lot of that fell on Zay. It really did. It really fell on Zay Flowers. When I knew we weren't coming. I knew we weren't going to win when he dropped that ball in the end zone and thought he was about to dance, and then he had it. Why do you want to dance so bad? I will say, like, I was really upset that he did that, and I was in person. I was cussing and fussing, but I marked that up to his lack of maturity.
Well, that's person number one. And if you're outside of the Baltimore area, then you might be surprised to hear that a certain head coach is person number two. But I promise this isn't new. There have been calls for Harbaugh's job for years. And if I had to know where it came from, I figured this will be the best time to ask where it came from and why.
I think that comes from, one, we are spoiled as a fan base. We are used to winning. We are a young fan base. However, if Flacco would have stayed and he would not have drafted Lamar Jackson, without a doubt, that he would be fired by now.
I'd do you one better. If he didn't start Lamar the second half of that season, where Lamar ended up starting as a rookie, he would have been fired that year.
Yes, agreed. I think that the growing sentiment is watching us lose games that we should have won, knowing what talent we have in our building. Pause, gutsy pause. And I say gutsy because that's what he calls them. We kept losing games because of 2-point conversions. We lost like 2 games in a row because of 2-point conversion calls that were made by John. And whether he made the calls or not, whether it was Greg Roman or not, he heard it in his ear, and you have the opportunity to say that's not a good call, or you had the opportunity to make a timeout or something, and it keeps happening. It just keeps happening. We keep getting there and not getting over the hump. And you have the talent. To me, after last season, he should have been fired. When I let Mike McDonald go to Seahawks, I was so upset because I'm like, yo, he would have been like the best head coach we could get. Like, he knows the Ravens, he knows the Harbaughs, he knows how to, the systems that we got. Boom. So I say all the time online, give me my coach back, Seattle. Give me my coach. I think the growing sentiment is there is only one true thing that's happening here. We got a new offensive coach. We got a new defensive coach. Lots of new faces in the building. And we got Derrick Henry. Why did we lose the game last season? There's only one trending thread here, and I think if we do not go to the Super Bowl this season after they just extended him to a 3rd-year contract, somebody's going to have some answers. And we actually have a meeting on Sunday, and that is going to be my question. And in my opinion, you have the best football player in the world, and that's my opinion.
Throughout this whole episode, I sensed an underlying feeling that I just couldn't shake, so I had to ask the question: is there fear in Flock Nation that they may not capitalize on their Super Bowl window with Lamar Jackson at quarterback?
Yes. I have a fear. Other people don't, but I do. I am terrified that he'll be 30 in 2 years and still no ring. The talent will be wasted. Because you can't have a quarterback that is that athletic and think that, is not going to come soon. That is my fear. Like, if he don't have a ring in the next 2 years, what does that mean? Does that mean he can't win with the Ravens?
Ravens fans, I'm so sorry to end on such an ominous and sad note, but thanks for watching this video so far. Thank you to Adrianna for coming on and sharing her story. And thank you to you specifically, that's watching this video. Appreciate you. But for the end credit scene, I had to revisit my one problem with the Fire Harbaugh crowd.
So that's beautifully explained, and I'm so happy you broke it down that way. But you also hit my one counterpoint I always bring back to Ravens fans. Remember I told you my older brother's one. He has his same sentiment. Not that instinct. I always say the same thing. Anyone wants to fire their coach, and then do what?
No, I know. And so I said that for the past couple years too.
Who's going to replace John Harbaugh and elevate this team? You're not going to grab a college. Yeah, look. Well, unfortunately.
Oh, the Notre Dame coach.
That's asking for a lot. Hey, come from college and lead the most talented team in the NFL to a Super Bowl. You can do it. Only one other person ever in NFL history who's ever done it. You got it, Marcus. Come on.
No, I believe in Marcus.
I think he'll be a great coach one day.
I'm not ageist, but I do think that we need somebody younger.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That will be the direction.
So what I've heard, from different people is like he's not as connected with his locker room as he's been in the past.
And as a coach that doesn't call plays, that's kind of your only job. So how?
And you can kind of tell. You witnessed it on Hard Knocks. If you watch Hard Knocks, you could tell that like he's not as close with them as he was in 2020. 2023 was the year to go. That was the year. Getting Derrick Henry is illegal. Do you know how illegal it is to have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson on the same offense? And now we got DeAndre Hopkins. It's only one problem. If you can't get somebody that can.
So
I don't know. I'm trying. Who else could we get? I really don't know.
So to give Harbaugh a little bit of breathing room here, is there? I do.
He got enough breathing room.